It's evening here in Germany. Good day and good morning wherever you may be in the world right now. Just got off work, got home, had to do some chores at the house, take care of little Pooh. Make sure he's well fed. And get some dinner myself. Hinleg, chin, Platz. And now I'll come up here and have a chat with you guys. Good day, Curtis Miller. And yeah, that was me writing something there. My mouse seems to not be working. KP Heathen, welcome. Just giving it a minute for everybody to start popping in here. Usually takes a couple minutes for everybody to get notified that, there we go, we got 6 people watching now. Okay, there we go. Okay, good morning, good day, and good evening, wherever you may be in the world today. Right now, it's about 8 o'clock in the evening here in Germany. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Bob Head, Stonewolf Outdoors, Curtis Miller. I'm glad to see everybody. I've been away for a couple days off of YouTube. I've had so much going on. Despite the weather that's been making it very difficult to do anything up here. We took care of the bees this weekend. That was very important. We did that. It's take care of your animals. We took care of the bees and we did some gardening maintenance. And we tried to do a little bit of filming. It was just too hot. It was just too hot. And for the last week or so, I have not been feeling that great. I was already concerned that I might be, coming down with something. But I was just super tired, super tired, and I had pain in my hands and in my back, and I couldn't really do anything. And so now that's kind of going away. And but it's way too high. I wanted to do so many cool little in-between projects on the forge. It's way too hot. If I start, I risk actually catching the shop on fire if I start up the gas forge. So yeah, so it's a little bit of an endeavor. But I did come up here tonight or this evening, hopefully, to see about the supermoon that's going to be out tonight. Tonight, there's supposed to be a supermoon visible in the sky. So I'm going to be hoping to be able to see that. I have a real nice spot here where the moon comes over the camp, but it gets pretty late. I think it'll be about midnight till I get to see it. So I may go home after this and actually come back to the camp again and try to do some filming. I don't know if I can actually get a good shot of that at night because of the lens and all that, but we'll see if I can trick something up. Good day, Nick Burson. How are you? Kind of a spontaneous live stream. So I just wanted to check in and say I'm still here and give you guys an update what's going on. Kind of put some time in here on YouTube and maybe get together with you guys here and see what your opinion is. I know this is a kind of a topic that's been beaten to death and it's in the news every day, but it's current events and this is a world-changing topic. We're looking at coming out of the last plague, I guess you could say. I'm trying to be careful with word selections here, as you all know. And going live for the supermoon. I guess we could do that, but you guys wouldn't see much. Once it gets dark in here, this camera here won't pick up anything at all. I have to turn on the flute. We'll take a look later and see. I'll decide if I can make it or not. So I'll see. I'm not still feeling kind of wheezy today. Having some troubles with can't eat too much, so that's another thing. But everything's fine so far. We'll have to see how it goes. Garden full of bees today. Yeah, I hope it's not somebody's house. Well, you never know. Here in Germany, that doesn't happen too often. They usually end up in the trees, and they usually find someplace in the forest. But they do end up on people's cars and in trash cans or in like mailboxes sometimes, and or in garages. So that's not as big of a problem as it is in the States. What was I going to say? Yes, the problem here now I was going to discuss with you guys, as you may know or may not know, the Ukraine conflict is now It's unfolding just the way they want it to, basically. They've now shipped one of the Nordstream, I believe Nordstream 1. Is it Nordstream 1? The turbine to pump the gas. They shipped it to Canada for repairs. And Canada said, oh, well, sanctions and all. We can't send it back to you, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's like if you, and just the sanctions is not harming Russia at all. And the opposite, the sanctions is just strengthening Russia, strengthening China, and it's weakening Europe. And it's constructed. And I can't believe how the people that are doing this, that are affected by it, are sitting there and pushing the buttons and just watching it burn. I can't believe it. If you see what happened in Sri Lanka, I am so amazed that the people of Sri Lanka have had enough bullshit, and they actually stormed the capital and overthrew their government. I believe it was today. So that's really good. So I'm hoping that they can actually get in there and elect some new people that are worth something, because if not, that would have been all for nothing. But they actually managed to overthrow their capital because they're actually quite tired of all of this. And now we'll have to see where that leads. We have the farmers. Oh, 1 second. Pooh! Stop that. He's chewing on his paws. I have to stop him from doing that. We have the farmers' protests in Belgium, which led to police shooting at a 16-year-old farmer who was just driving his tractor out of the conjunction traffic to leave. Very slowly and responsibly driving his tractor trailer out there, and he got shot at twice and was injured in the process. Let me see who this is. And okay, I'm going to try to turn the sound off. There. All right. So he got injured in the process, and the police said, "Oh, they were just warning shots." And the farmer shows, "Oh yeah, right. Look, the first shot went through the window, and the other one was right here, and my head was 3 inches over to the side. You could have tried to shoot me in the head." That's what they were trying to do. They're trying to kill that farmer. So, and a 16-year-old kid just driving his tractor there with his trailer. It's ridiculous. And now you have it's escalating. They want to cut 50% of the CO2 emissions. Maybe they should just shut their mouth and stop breathing oxygen. Maybe that would contribute to the entire CO2 emission of the world if they were just to shut up for 5 minutes and think about what they're doing, because they're not only cutting 50% of the farming off, they're cutting 50% of the logistical people, the truck drivers, the people at the supermarkets won't have anything to sell. All of the infrastructure between the farm, and you're cutting out 50% of that. That's cutting out 50% of the chain that feeds people, that feeds everybody. This is ridiculous. It just makes me so angry. And I have to I'm going on a rant today. I've been sitting at my desk all day watching this and trying to form a very educated and thoughtful opinion about this. And the only thing that comes up to my mind is that I just keep getting angry. I was like, how stupid is this? And the thing is, here in Germany, I've been telling people now, if you're not careful, this Ukraine situation, even though it's far away, well, it's not that far actually. It's not that far away from where I live here at all, actually. But they think even though it's 3 countries that way, it won't affect us. Well, you see that now with the grains. 60-70% of Europe's grains are now, they couldn't be harvested because of the war. So now they've spoiled. So it's ridiculous. Potato Joe is, yes, he is. That is actually, and here's the thing in Germany, same topic. They're paying, I thought I turned that off. They're paying farmers. They're not paying farmers. They're forcing farmers. They're not paying them. They're saying you either agree not to use the farmland and you get to keep it, but you can't use it. Or if you use it, we'll just take your whole entire property away from you. What kind of bullshit is that? That is not a CO2 policy. That is totalitarian. That is a machine grinding away at the freedom of this world, and everything that's been established to maintain some kind of social order is going to be disrupted here pretty soon. Cheers. Trudeau had to ask Biden's permission to send the pump back to Germany. Yes. That's pretty weird. Hello, Brian. Good evening. Yeah, so we don't even know. So the fact is, man, I'm so all over the place right now. I got my thoughts all organized like a battle plan, but everybody keeps making good points here. Yeah, they want you to eat bugs. They can go and think twice on that. Yeah, I had a 5-year plan up here for the camp. Not looking like it's going to happen now. I have to kind of figure out what do I need in the next 5 months to make that 5-year plan kind of, realistic. So I need a solar panel. I need a water filter. I need a well. I have a roof over my head. That's a good thing. I have some kind of sustainable infrastructure to plant food, but it's by means not far enough to what I need. I need to be able to defend this place. That means I can't do that by myself. I need to find somebody I know and trust. And that's going to be a very difficult task to have somebody live here that knows what they're doing to protect this place while I'm not here. So we'll have to see. I have to figure all that out. It's going to be a tough one because I'm running out of energy. Yeah, Bay, you're absolutely correct. That's another thing. I think that Zelensky, I have to be careful what I say here. I'm very angry. I think that Zelensky guy, this is a possible theory that somewhere underneath all the smoke and the smoke screen of all of this battle and all of the other distractions, I believe that they're both in on it, Putin and Zelensky. If you can't tell me that the one of the most biggest top secret services of the world, the KGB, can't find a clown with his foolish court of jesters and a couple of bodyguards hiding in a country that he knows. He's got spies everywhere. He's got people in the Ukrainian area. You can't tell me he could have not found him by now and captured him alive back to the Ukraine. I don't understand that. We'll talk about that, Kinroy here. Sin Koi in a minute, because you're absolutely correct about the lunch meat. I'm here in Germany at the moment, and I will address that just one minute here. Yes, the Georgia Guidestones. It's something about how you should maintain a population of a certain degree and something. I know of what you're talking about. I haven't the details yet, but so I think this is a big thing, man. I think that somehow Zelensky and Putin are in on this together because it's just too weird that Putin hasn't been able to put hands on Zelensky yet. He's one of the biggest mastermind secret services in the world, and he can't find this clown with his gang of fools hiding in a bunker somewhere. I don't believe that. And you have constantly Zelensky pestering the US, pestering Germany, pestering the EU and the NATO. You need to give me more. You need to come here and fight. You need to fight here. You need to blow your resources. You need to do this. You need to do that. Well, wait a minute. No, we don't. As a matter of fact, you need to go and do this and that and the other and leave. We're already giving him everything we have. The German army has nothing to give, nothing. And they're still giving him tanks. They shouldn't be giving them tanks. They can give them, for all I care, they could give them all of the old East German surplus ammunitions and stuff. Get rid of all that crap. Throw it down there. But the other thing is, I know for a fact that most of the delivered most of the military equipment that is sent to the Ukraine. I'd say over half of it never makes it to the actual military. It's intercepted and it's sold on the black market. Now, how do I know that? I know that because I know a lot of people in the Ukraine, and they tell me all these things that they go there and come. They take humanitarian stuff there themselves, and they take it straight to the people because they say, if I don't do this, somebody will meet at the border, take whatever it is that's coming in, and sell it to the refugees, and sell it to the Ukrainian people, or sell it to a third party somewhere, depending on what it is and what the price or the value is. And so many of these people that have been refugees fleeing the country, that have been caught at customs with briefcases full of millions of US dollars, that didn't declare what they're bringing as a refugee. You can declare any amount of money without any reason, say, this is my life fortune. I managed to bag it up and I'm taking it out of the country with me. That's not a problem. You just have to declare it. They let you go. These people that were hiding millions of dollars said, no, I don't have any, I have no money. And then they found briefcases of millions of dollars, US dollars, briefcases. And this is not one person. This is very many people so far. And they're like, well, they researched where is this money coming from? And it's been laundered through selling materials, ammunitions, humanitarian aid products, things that have been sent to the Ukraine to help the people fight, to help the people that have suffered. That's those people. That's where all this money's going. And then we're paying Ukraine money to build their military. But what did they do? They buy weapons from the EU. See how this works? This is, and again, those weapons go to the EU. They never make it to where there's the weapons that come from the EU go to Ukraine, never make it to the military on site to fight with Russia. They are dispersed, who knows, programming the conflicts for the next 10, 15 years after this story is done. We're going to see that again. And we're not only helping the Ukraine, we're also helping the neighboring lands that are neighbors to Ukraine, helping defend themselves as well, which is like, oh my, I don't know where all this money is coming from. We have people living in Germany under the bridge in the next city down here. There's people sleeping under the bridge, and people throwing millions of dollars just giving away to a country that, this should never have happened. This conflict should have never happened. It would have been an easy fix, real easy. Yes, Russia was not correct with attacking. It's a terrible thing, and people are dying and suffering on both sides because of the decisions, the poor decisions, or the decisions of politicians again. But this conflict could have been easily evaded by making a no military zone in the Ukraine, backing the NATO out a step, and going to the table to negotiate new terms for future business. That would have been the easiest way to do it. Say, okay, Putin was angry. Don't keep pushing me. Don't keep pushing me. Move NATO back. I don't want NATO even closer to Russia. I'm not supporting Putin by far, but this is how this started. This is what's kicked the spark. And there's a bunch of political little surprises in there too, with businesses from the U.S. being in certain places there in the Ukraine that shouldn't be known. And let's not talk about that because that's a very iffy thing. But it could have been very easily avoided. But they needed this so badly for their motive. They've been waiting for this for years, and now it's on the now the ball is in the field. So we're very, very in danger here in Europe, especially as well though in the USA. I just see that there's a bird poop on my table. There's a bird in here. Trying to figure out how it got in, but I can now figure it probably came in through the top there. So we're in a grave danger now at this time of day. There's some imminent threats that the lights may go out soon. The power may go out. Who would have known that? Who would have known that the power might go out here? We're hitting a heat wave here of over 40 degrees Celsius this week. It's a record high in a very long time. I just heard something. It's a record high if in a very long time, if even ever. ever first for Germany, the temping. And from that, people are going to be cranking their AC fans and who knows. And now, I'm not so worried about myself, but I have parents that heat with gas. And my parents are old folks. And in the wintertime, there won't be any gas. They're already saying, we have a problem. There won't be any gas in the winter. Well, I wonder why, idiots. You guys screwed it up. Too late to fix it, too, because now you're going to get the turbine back and go, here you go, Putin. Putin will be like, all right, thank you, but I'm not turning the gas back on to Germany. Sorry. I'll just keep pumping gas to China and yeah. So that's what's going to happen. And then there will be no fuel for the vehicles. There will be no fuel for the farmers. There will be no farming anyway because of other reasons. There will be no fuel for electricity. There will be no fuel for heating the homes or for the industry. So there we go. Exactly, Bobhead. Very well said. It makes me so angry too. And if you say something, they call you a nationalist, Nazi, or whatever, and you can't open your mouth because of all of the bullshit that comes along with it. You have children starving here. There's a city, I live here in the south of Germany, around a lot of American communities, which is a very good thing. You can see that the American population here around Germany in the areas where there are large bases, they put an enormous amount of money back into the local infrastructure. They spend an enormous amount of money locally at the pubs, at the restaurants, just alone. All of the private homes that are being rented by the Americans that get funded by the government housing allowances, that puts so much money back into the community around all of those facilities that people don't realize. And now you have to look too, that you have these communities here where there's so much money distributed to one side. And now you, like you were just saying, you're giving away money, but the other side, you have people starving on the street. And you look down the road and you have these beautiful houses here. And then you drive down to the other side of town and there's people who can't afford a bus ticket to go to the homeless shelter. So this is really, I'm just very angry. It just lit me up today. It's just, yeah. Now they're running up the whole the whole plague thing again. Oh my! One of the Annalena Baerbock, one of the German ministers, she's very ill, even though she's got the super juice 4 times already. We're afraid she might die. I wonder. So, who knows? So let's see what we got here. Everything will be over by the new year. Gold-backed currency, probably a new type of government replacing the EU. Trump back in. Well, I think most of the Ukrainian nationalists, I would say not nationalists, Ukrainian neo-Nazis, are probably already in Russian jail because I think Putin arrested a bunch of those already. Exactly, Bob. If you have children in your family, in your home, if you have, let's just say, a larger family and 3 children, it's not unusual to see a family with 3 children. I see them quite often. I have 3 children. Do you know what that entails to feed 3 children and keep them well clothed and healthy? That takes every minute of your energy and every cent of well-planned financing, and 2 parents going to work full-time jobs nowadays with little to no support from the government. And now I'm going to go and say, oh, well, let's say we have these 5 refugee families that just moved in 3 blocks away. Sorry, children. I'm going to go take care of those guys. And there ain't nothing left for you. That's what that's like. That is not okay. And there's nothing being done about it. Nothing. It's just being worse. Let's go. other people unless you're standing on your own feet. That is very important. And you raise 5 children. Wow, that's an honorable, respectable task there. Yeah. So that's being said. That was a very important thing. So this pipeline, it's not coming back on. It's not. They're not going. Putin's going to be like, screw you. I've had enough of your mockery. You wait and see. I'm telling you that Putin isn't going to invade Germany in a sense of feet on the ground quite yet. He's going to push this Ukraine thing as far as he can get it until he gets to the closest part of Poland where the NATO is able to defend Poland. Because there's the U.S. base. Romania has U.S. bases there. That's where he's going to be. That's where he's going to. That is the uttermost limit, I would say, that he may push this. The thing is, though, if he shuts off the electricity, all he has to do is just wait. Wait until all the resources are depleted. Wait until the infrastructure is destroyed. And wait until the enemy, which would be the EU, is inorganized, insufficiently supplied with resources, and misinformed with false information. And by the way, if the lights go out, Boo, what are you doing? I'm watching you. If the lights go out, it won't be an invasion of soldiers that you have to worry about. In 2 to 3 days, if the fact again, you have the friendly family with 3 children down the road, that father or that mother is going to be out looking for whoever's got where to get food for those children. And they'll take it from wherever they need to take it, whatever they have to do, right or wrong, it doesn't matter. And everybody's going to have that kind of mindset. And that's going to be a bad thing. That's why community is extremely important in these situations. You need to get out of major populations if you have that possibility. And if you don't, it's best you probably prepare yourself as good as possible for your situation and stay low key. Don't let nobody know you've been doing that. And when it comes time to hold out your hand to get something, hold out your hand and get something. Because if you don't, people are going to know you don't need because you have. And you have to look the part. So that's one thing. You have to stay the gray man, basically. Blend in with the crowd. And it's going to get to the point where I believe it would see like Germany 1909 again. I think that's what it's going to be. Wheelbarrows full of euros to the bakery. Yeah, wheelbarrows, because there won't be no trucks. I guarantee that. Even no trucks driving. Yeah, well, America has their guns, Dash 52, 57. That is true. However, they're after those as well. And I know a lot of, I believe the same. I'm the same mindset. I believe you should have the right to bear arms, to form a well-trained and well-formed militia to protect the rights of the people in times of need. And I believe strongly in that principle, because without that, every government that's ever been destructive or tyrannical to its people would have never been abolished. And you have now the fact that the thing to think about, though, is, like I said, you have to build good communities, because if you have a bunch of guns at your home, you're one guy, you can only shoot one gun at a time. If they decide to ban guns, let's just say they ban firearms overnight in the United States, and they know you have a handgun, so they're going to assume, because you have to register for that, apply for registration for a firearm, for a handgun over certain kind. In most states, I believe. They know you have a handgun, so they probably presume they know you have other firearms. They're going to come with SWAT teams, professionally trained hitmen with helicopters and van, like the whole 9 yards. They're going to go house to house. They're going to take out specific targets that are a threat to them, and they're going to make examples out of them. And then they're going to give people a chance to turn in their guns. Like, well, we stormed this whole street here. We took out every guy that had a gun. And that's what's going to have. Bows and arrows and swords be the same way. Now, you can make them, yeah, of course, but they're going to be counted as weapons and be confiscated just the same if caught with them in the forest. So it's going to be a hard time. You have to think, where's this going to end, and where's it going to begin, and where's the end? Where's the line in the sand? I think that's it's in a way, it's already been, they're throwing rocks over that line already. But that's what you got to think. That's where community comes into play. If you have a well-organized community with people that you can form a well-established relationship with in a community way, or even, if you have good neighbors, that is a very valuable asset. If you get along with your neighbors very well, that is a very valuable skill, because that might be something that'll help you later. That community getting together and saying, no, they're not taking our guns. And then organizing that community, the fact where they just can't come and take one house. That'll make them go other places. That'll make all of the people looking to form radical groups of robbers and thieves to come rob that town think twice as well. So those are some ideas that that go down. When it comes down to the fact that the lights go off, the problem isn't going to be the soldiers marching. Not the first moment. That may happen later on, and I'll get to that in a minute. So I think that'll be the first threat. Will be everybody and their brother out on the street looking for something that they might be able to. Mad Max mindset. Yeah, that's exactly what I think, something of that nature. That's the danger behind this. You get society as corrupt and destroyed as it is, has a very organized function of keeping people in parameter from going all out Mad Max all the time. There's rules, there's laws, there's punishments and penalties for going out and killing people. There's, that's one of the positive virtues of a society. You have to have certain rules in place that don't infringe your freedom to be a human being, but that manage a society to grow and evolve and get together and continue to do that, and without constantly having to worry about being robbed by your neighbors or by the people from the next town, or certain groups of radical, crazy, who knows what. They have all kinds of names. But yeah, that's one thing. Now, I was just watching something else the other day. I watched a Dragon Sky. If you guys are listening, take a moment today and watch this movie. It's on YouTube. It's a B-rated movie. I believe it's, let me just double check if that's correct. Let me double check. No. What is it? Dragon. I think I got it wrong. I'm looking it up on the internet now. I'm trying to find the name of the movie. This is a really good movie for you guys to watch, and it's got a cool idea. Well, anyway, is this it? Well, anyway, I'll close this window. It's on YouTube. Let me see if I can figure it out while I'm having. I'll open another window here while I do this somehow. Here we're gonna try to figure out how to do that real quick, because I really like you guys to go watch this movie. This movie is not because I'm trying to promote it or anything, but the idea behind it is what I'm looking for. Open another window up. Okay, I want just, oh man, why did it do that? So the idea behind it is there's a guy, a family, and the father is he works for the U.S. government as a mosquito catcher. No, he works for the U.S. government as it's kind of like a special intelligence officer designed to create scenarios at which the United States may see cyber attacks in the future. And they kind of don't like the scenarios because he's constantly proposing because they're kind of weird. And they just said, you're wasting our time. So they fire the guy. And yeah, so I really kind of want to spoil it. Let's see what the Google has to say here. Dragon Day, I think it's called. Yes, Dragon Day. Hold on, let me go back here now. Go back to YouTube. Okay. Oh, did I miss something? Did I miss something? Someone pop in here? Okay. Ah, Bjorn, welcome. Yeah, someone said hello, Bjorn. I'm like, where'd he go? He's up there. So somebody already said hello. Yeah, we were just discussing how the pipeline is going to affect the European infrastructure. And it's going to be a very dark time. And we're a little bit worried about like the dark times that are going to come after they shut the electricity off. So, okay, what we got here? Russia is out of control. That is correct. Bjorn, you have your chainmail underwear ready? Yes. Okay, and lots of firewood. Yeah, we're both Vanessa and I are investing enormous amounts of time and energy on firewood these last couple days. I probably chopped 10 meters by hand with my Fiskars axe, and I have had enough chopping. I chopped all the wood that I had over there. I've chopped a lot of wood that I had there, and then chopped some of it down that's in the parking lot. And so I'm going to stack up that, and I'm ordering as much dry firewood as I can get my hands on because it's becoming very scarce very fast. People are buying it up like you won't believe. So the firewood deal, there won't be much firewood for sale here in the next couple months as well. Yeah, their television is threatening to invade other countries and use nukes. Well, as long as it's just a television, I'm not afraid of televisions. I have a very useful tool against televisions. Where is it? I can't see it right now, but I have a really useful anti-television repellent device. Very good, Bjorn. Yes, I do the same. That's why I like having a nice van. Anywhere there's a piece of wood, pick it up, throw it in the car, cut it, throw it in the firewood pile. It's absolutely great mindset. And if I were you, if they're, I don't know if they tear down houses a lot where you live, like construction sites, I would just go up there and talk to the people cutting down all the trees and be like, can I have some of this firewood? That's how I do. I get a lot of my cool materials from the construction site for my friend. He tears houses down and he brings back all the wood, and he's got to separate stone, wood, hazardous waste, and all that stuff. And I get to take a look at all the old beams. Some of all these old beams are from an old house, actually, as a matter of fact. And it's good firewood. If you can't use it for anything, you can still use it for firewood. But the only down draw is if your chainsaw, I don't know, I've gone through like 3 chains cutting those old beams up because they have all these hidden surprise pieces and nails and stuff. So that's one of those things. But definitely like pieces of wood laying on the road, or in the path, or that's a very good mindset. Good idea as well. Anti-television axes. Yes, that is correct. Well, Benjamin, I don't have a television. Ta-da! I don't own one at all. There's not one in the entire house, anywhere. The only thing I have is this laptop and a computer at home, and it's very well, like you said, I turn it off, and it's not there. However, I do need to stay informed of what's happening in the world in order to be prepared so that the changes that are coming won't affect me as harsh, so that I can adapt and overcome the problems that come along with all of these radical ideas that are being implemented. But you're absolutely right. Turn off that television. Televisions, actually, as a matter of fact, another thing. They're not that. It's okay to watch a little bit of TV once in a while, but televisions in general, especially some of the older ones, they send out like high signals that go in your brain and do something with your. I really agree with that, and that's one of the reasons I don't have one. They always give me headaches. When I sit in front of a television somewhere, I just get this headache, like something is repelling against my mind, and I don't like it. So that's why I don't have a television. You have not had a television since 1980. Wow. But I would like to get in television, actually. Let me tell you why. I would like to get an old 1980s television to take apart because I want the refractory lens that's on the front of that. I want to build a pivot sunray that fits on the back of a pickup truck that I can drive around and shoot tanks with and catch them on fire from far away by focusing the sunlight. Good idea. Yeah, but electric smog, yes, great topic. I heard you talking about that this morning as well. And was that this morning or yesterday? I'm not quite sure. You've done quite a few live streams the last couple of days, and I've watched quite a few minutes of all of those. But one of your, you did talk about electric smog. It's an electrostatic field of charged particles in the air due to all of the electrical signals and things that are being flown through the air. And it affects our brains, it affects our lungs, and then it affects our whole body and our skin and our whole, the way we feel. So yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah, that's right. Skull. Oh, that's a nasty energy drink. I don't like that one. Ugh. It was free. It was in the refrigerator. Minx M33, welcome. Oh wow, we have quite a live stream going on today. Here we have 32 people watching. That's kind of a record for me. I think that's because Bjorn kind of just popped in here. I think he brought all the attention with him. Yes. Yeah. So I'm really worried about this pipeline being the start of a really dark time because of the idiocracy behind it. Oh wow, here we go. So the turbine that got sent to the turbine from Nordstream pipeline that got sent to Canada, they're not planning on they weren't planning on getting it back soon. So they say within the next 10 days now, after getting a special permission to the sanctions for against Russia, because they had sanctions against Russia, they weren't going to send the turbine back to Russia to put back in the pipeline so to supply Europe with gas, which is, I can't just believe the stupidity. You put sanctions on a country and you hope to harm their business, and the only thing you're harming is your own infrastructure, because now your people are going to freeze to death in the winter, and they'll most likely be in the dark before the next couple of months, because all of that gas is where's it going to go? It's, you got power plants, you have industry, you have all of the infrastructure, and then you have the homes that still have you need to turn the lights on and all of that stuff. And all of that stuff uses gas as a utility, so that's a real big issue. And for myself, I'm not worried about that because I heat my entire home with wood stove. I have a wood stove in the basement, so if I would be, I could heat water there. I could also cook warm food there, and not a problem. So, for the simple thing, I seem to remember just slightly having read something about going to war with Russia in winter, and it's going badly. Yes. Ah, okay. I think that was meant as a referral. I'm not sure, but yes, I understand, Bjorn. I believe so. So, yeah. So I'm hoping. I'm not worried so much for myself. I'm worried for my parents. You know, they're sitting at home and they have gas to heat the home and the hot water. So that's a little bit of a problem. Um, if push comes to shove, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go buy a wood stove and haul it over to my parents' house and drill a hole in the wall and install it properly with a nice chimney, and bring them a nice trailer load of wood, and just make sure that that's going to be okay. But it's, as a last minute thing, you might not be able to just go out and buy all the stuff you need to set that up. The Antichrist, yeah, I wonder. Who knows? Oh, Ginger, those radios that you can turn, those are a good idea as well. We'll get one with a little flashlight. Yeah, I have actually, Bjorn, I have two wood stoves in the house. I have one upstairs that's just for the heating, and I have one in the basement. It heats the basement when it's really, really cold in the winter. I start that one up, and on that one, it's a really old one where you have like a cast iron top to it, and you can feed the wood in from the top. And I can actually I could put a frying pan or boil some hot water on top of there. If I really have to, down to it, I can cook my scrambled eggs and bacon in the basement, and that's perfectly fine while I'm sitting there watching the door, make sure that no one wants to come steal my breakfast. Water is a big thing. I made sure I did a large we did a large haul of drinking water, bottled water, just not too long ago, but are going to be doubling up on it. Carbonated water is, by the way, the best if you can get it in glass bottles, because plastic kind of loses the the pressure, and they say plastic bottles aren't so good, but we'll see. So, but I don't prefer the glass bottles because of all of they're heavy, and that's the thing. But water, correct. Water is a very big factor. At the Viking camp here, luckily, I have a spring it's kind of just 50 meters up the hill. I know where to get water from here. That's not a problem. We can get water to what we need to survive. I mean, if it's taking one bath a week, that's fine. That's what it is. It picks up the good signal. You're going to need the emergency broadcast signal and a couple of building a community with people and getting some two-way radios that have a radius of your community there would be a good idea as well. Because when cell phones go out, you don't want to be first of all on the cell phone where everybody's monitoring everything you do, and secondly, you can track it. And third of all, if you have a two-way radio, people first need to know what frequency you're on, and they don't know what code you're speaking, and you can quickly communicate. In case of a crisis, for example, a fire, if you have a fire, you can quickly organize help or organize some kind of, that's just one real good example. Yeah, well, they do last a long time in the plastic bottles. They're food safe, I guess, but when you're speaking of health, the fact that I really shouldn't be lifting over 10 pounds in the first place, I considered that I probably want to go buy some plastic bottles so I can actually have something that I can tote around with me. So it's a lose-win situation. You have to figure out what end of it you want to cut a bargain to. Yeah, my smartphone should go in the wood stove first. That is actually, I wouldn't throw it in the wood stove, Bjorn, because of the lithium battery and all the toxic fumes. But I get the idea of what you're saying there is very correct. Yes, Adian, walkie-talkies for yourself and your family, but they have to be good ones. That I'm not sure what the spec is called. They can't be the cheap ones from like the Home Depot. They have to have a certain. I have to look it up, and they make really good ones for about $100. You can get a pair of like 4 of them, and I think they go like 10 kilometers as long as it's a radius, and it's wideband, no dual. I'm not quite sure. I'm not an expert at all at radio anything. Canning food as yes. We just spent all weekend. That's one of the other reasons I haven't been able to get up here on the YouTube. I really would have loved to film some of that, but we were extremely busy with the heat, and we had only a limited amount of time in the early daylight hours to do all the hard work outside because the sun was just, you can't be out in the sun doing these things. It's just too much. So we harvested all our cranberries. We ate so many cranberries. I don't know. It was disgusting. So we had so many this year. It was so great. And we canned several different ways. We canned for, some of them we put with alcohol, and some of them we canned them to preserve them for later with pressure. I got cooking, pressure cooking. Is that the right the right word? You need your phone. Well, if it comes down to work, won't need you and your phone. There will be, unless you're like a super important person or like a health specialist that you have to be on call or something like that. Yeah, but in that case, Phil, yes, but that's the company that makes those. The only reason I have not actually bought those yet, even though they seem to be the best on the market at the moment, is because they're made in China. Is that not they're Chinese? I'm not sure. I was looking into that and I was like, well, I really don't want a Chinese made radio if I'm afraid China's going to invade here, something in that manner. So I'd have to take another look at that. Well, if the smartphone can go, once I wipe all of the pictures down my hard drive, which I should probably do regularly anyway, it'll go right into a deep hole. Yeah, Bjorn, same here. New experience for me. I must say I have had little to no experience with canning food, but we spent all weekend canning all kinds of fruits cherries, cranberries. This weekend, we're looking at hopefully the tree called like plums, I guess. Something like plums, the little yellow plums. That whole tree is going to be ready to go here soon. That's thousands of those. And we're making different types of alcohol tinctures, and I don't know how many baskets of herbs we cut yesterday. Lavender, rosemary, peppermints. I probably carried 4 hand basket full of peppermint leaves inside yesterday and cut them by hand, selecting only the best. And so it was a lot of work. Uh, yeah, well, it is a kind of a tool, and if you can use it as that, and that's mainly the only reason I have it is to be because of work, and I use it as a tool, and I do manage to throw it and leave it, and I always need to make sure that since Vanessa and I live about an hour apart, like say if we were at our A and B locations are about an hour apart. Her log cabin is about an hour from here, and she spends 2 or 3 days a week over there. And with her uncle over there, he's got his own cabin. And another thing about community, they have a great community on that side. And I need to be able, in case something happens, I need to be able to react immediately, like jump in the car and go save the world. That's kind of like a regular thing lately. So well, I've heard of that, and it's nothing to laugh about, but I don't believe that it's something that I'd like to try out anytime soon. So honestly, no, I'm just going to leave it at that. Yes. Well, yeah. So many people here today. That's awesome. That's really awesome. And today as well, I said it earlier, but everybody else is here rolling in. Today, here's a positive outlook, at least for the rest of the day. Today is a supermoon. So if it's, let's see, if it's in the United States now, it's about 9 in the evening here. So it's somewhere around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the United States. Tonight, take a look out in the sky. It's a supermoon. I'm going to probably, after I get out of the live chat here, go home for a quick minute, get some rest, and probably come back around close to midnight to see if I can do some video footage here of the supermoon, which has a nice position right over the camp here, which is really cool. The protests in the Netherlands. Yes, actually, that was a topic earlier here in the chat. It's a very serious topic that's actually going alongside with the narrative of making us starve, basically. And I've been following the protests in the Netherlands, and they're not just now in the Netherlands. Belgium is beginning to protest. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, and they're getting in right at the right time before it's too late. Everybody needs to get in now and start protesting before the government starts to come out with all these regulations and all these measures. The people need to come together and do this now, and they are, which is great. People are starting to realize this and are taking action. We can't let this happen. This is our food that's being destroyed here. This is our future. Bugs, yeah. If you've ever tried to eat bugs, the thing, if you're starving, your body is on meltdown mode. If you are starving for a very long period of time, for after the point where you've lost your healthy daily balance, and you go back to eating whatever it was that you ate, like say you just ate a hamburger, your body wouldn't know what to do with that. Now, let's say you ate bugs in that situation. If you're not used to that, you're not going to do yourself a favor. So that's a thing to think about. If you're not trained to eat bugs all the time. The other thing is eating bugs brings a very high risk of deadly parasites as well, which you don't want because, in the long run, that's another reason you don't want to do it. But there are bugs that are edible, yes, and there are ways to eat them. That's, I guess, less yeah, all that. But I can tell you about a dozen things that I can eat out in the forest all year round off of the trees that at least get me some starch and some carbohydrates. And I know of a place where there's fish in a lake not too far from here. And the thing about hunting as well, people, another misconception, I believe, this is my well-educated opinion here. Everybody's going to have their own. As a hunter and as someone who knows firearms and a little bit about hunting and trapping, if it comes down to the point where the stores are closed, you have no food, and nobody does, going out into the forest to go hunting is one of the most unwise ideas that there is, for the first fact that mostly there won't be hardly anything to nothing to hunt other than other people, because that's all that's going to be out there. That's all that's going to be out in the forest. That's going to be left is other people looking for someone with the same idea. Hey, there'll be 10, 15 people out there, and it's going to be wildfire, free for all. There are going to be bullets flying everywhere. Secondly, you're going to have snares and traps everywhere. It's going to be super dangerous to go into the forest. You're going to have these people that are trappers. They're going to be setting all kinds of traps to catch anything they can. That's going to be the other thing. And secondly, you don't want to make yourself a target out there. Chickens. I just read something about chickens there. Something just bit me. I got bit by mosquitoes. Chickens is going to be on the list to do things very soon here. I need to build a chicken something or another over here. What tastes like pork now? I must have missed the message, Bjorn. I didn't get this. What, the frogs, or I didn't. I must have missed it, or were you referring to the bugs? Oh, people. Okay, all right. Well, there's a thing. It's a topic that's very, very dark. And to the fact that I don't like to talk about that because it's something that you may have to do or consider someday. I'm going to put it this way. It's a very dark thing to think about, but if it comes down to it and you're stranded on an island, let's put it this way. If you're stranded on an island, let's just talk about wild boar, and then you guys can get the picture. Wild boar are full of parasites and diseases that can develop in animals of a specific age and above. If you have no choice, it is always wisest to hunt the youngest animal possible to reduce the amounts of toxins and parasites that animal has ingested during its lifetime, to reduce the risk of you actually congesting those yourself. And then you have to make sure you also cook the meat of that animal very, very thoroughly to further lower the risk of congesting parasites. So now I'm not going to explain that any further. That's how how this goes. This is a very, very not, something I don't like to talk about, because we all think about it. It's there. It's, that's one of those things. Apocalypse, whoa, cannibals, and it's a reality. People in World War I were so poor they were selling their children off to for a meal, as well as people were getting beef, but no one knew where it was coming from, and it wasn't beef, but people believed it was beef. So really, yeah, I'd eat potatoes as well. I think potatoes will get me through. Potatoes with some with a nice stew. and some of my herbs from the garden. There's so many wild edibles here. I'm just looking out here and I can see already the forest. There's a couple things I could go right for right now and eat them right off the tree. You can eat most of the leaves off of most of the insidious trees here in Europe. Salad. Now in the wintertime, of course, you're going to be looking for food a little bit differently than you would now in the summer in the forest. Well, Aussie hardwood, you're correct. You need to check the liver. You also need to check what's called the Zwerchfellspfeiler. It's a part of the diaphragm in the wild boar to check for trichinosis, as well as a part of the muscle from the front of the arm. Those are two of the areas where you can find the highest concentrations of parasites in the muscle tissue. And that's where they would be testing those under a laboratory situation. Now, yeah, I don't know how much of a laboratory setup that they would have, in the apocalypse, but mystery sausage stew. Well, that I guess was a common thing to eat in 1909 here in Europe. That's gross, but that's the way it was. That's there's places in the world where people are still eating today, and nobody talks about that because that's a very, very serious topic. And there's actually a disease that you can acquire by that. It does something with the brain as well. It's also really, really it's a risk of that too. Go kind of crazy. It's almost Let's go. Yes, but there's you can never be prepared enough, and you know what's coming. But we have an idea now. We know there's going to be a food crisis for sure. We know there's a artificially created energy crisis. We know that. So it's good to have some of the things that you need to cook, especially wood, lots of firewood to keep warm. Yeah. So, some of those things that you can acquire now, get them. If you don't have a lot of space in your apartment or in your living quarters because you live in a enclosed area, there's still some things you can buy that'll last you a very long time. The dehydrated soup packets, they're usually here in Germany, they're like 60 cents or 30 cents sometimes on sale. If you go buy one day and they're on sale and buy like 15 euros of those, that's a couple dozen of those soup packets that along with whatever else on a daily basis that you can find will last you for a while, and so on. I mean, those are some of the small things, that you can help prepare for, and they don't take up a lot of space. You can put them in a Tupperware, put them away somewhere. Yeah, so. Mad cow disease, yeah, Creutzfeldt-Jakob, they call it here in Germany. Eat the rich, teacher, not literary thought, though. Yeah, okay. I don't know why it's not loading my new messages here. Hello, Orifolk. You made it to a live chat. You didn't miss this one. This is actually a really good one. We have a very large audience here today. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. It's really exciting to have 101 people here at the live chat today. Well, at least fishing, it would be an excellent skill. It's not hard to learn fishing. I mean, it's a very simple task. Learning to prepare the fish is more important than learning to fish, because if you don't do it correctly, there's some things that you can do wrong that you can get sick. And being sure there's some fish you don't want to eat as well, but they're not that common in most parts of the world. Wheat berries, Russia did something world changing. Yeah, well, they shut they have so what they did is the pipeline that supplies gas to Europe at the moment, I believe Nordstream 1, that still was running at they both said that 60% of the gas would still be there, is now shut down because the turbine, the pump that pumps the gas over, is the only company that can do this in Canada. So they shipped it to Canada. Canada said, well, we'll fix it, but sanctions with Russia and all, sorry, we can't do it. And so therefore, they've just artificially created, they've shipped it through Germany, by the way. Germany shipped it off knowing it may never come back. And now they're begging it to come back because they've realized, oh no, that's a terrible thing. And they had to go about and bend all the rules to the sanctions, just barely got it through to send it back. Now they're going to repair it within 10 days, they say. The pump will be back in Russia on the pipeline. But they're now worried that Putin will just say, I'm just not going to turn on the switch. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave the pipeline off because Germany's been, he's been very angry with Germany. So that's what I think is going to happen. And a lot of people are worried that's going to happen as well. And I think that's what they're provoking to happen as well, because this is so obvious that they're doing this on purpose. I don't know. Benjamin, very good. You have some of those. Those are like an excellent, like I said, they're not much, but they will keep you from starving for one more day. And if you can find and forage some ingredients, you can add those constantly to the soups to make them a little bit more tasty and nutritious. And they have lots of salts, and they have some, you have something, a warm meal in your stomach. Maybe you have some bread. If you have fish that you can find, or anything you can add to the soup. So. Okay, what we got here? We have. Okay, we're over an hour now, and this here, the laptop says I have about 20 minutes left, so we'll do another 20 minutes, and then I'll probably have to end the stream because otherwise the laptop will just shut down, and then that will be it. Uhtred Ragnarsson. Yeah, I like watching The Last Kingdom. That was a cool TV show. And I haven't finished watching the last couple episodes of the last season yet, so don't spoil it for me. I'd like to finish it. But I do really, really like the TV show. Even though it's not a very historically correct show, it's a very good story. And I really do like watching it. Thank you, Odifek. That's very nice of you to wish me well there. But I will manage. I will not have problems. It's just going to be not as easy. It's going to be a little bit more rough, and we'll have to see how it goes. I look like Uhtred Ragnarsson. What? No? Who? I don't understand. Who's writing that? I'm not carrying a sword. I need a nice sword with a gemstone in the bottom of it. What do we got here? We got everybody writing some. Oh, wow. Okay, forge. Stay warm. Yeah, I can always fire up the forge here. I won't freeze up here. It's actually so hot today. I didn't want to fire up the forge because I was worried about fire hazards. So it was kind of a bit too hot to fire up the forge. I was actually going to make something nice. It's always like the time when I look in the calendar and a bunch of people are having birthdays. That's when I'm usually very busy at the forge. So I have to really look into that. What kind of special gifts that are coming up for some special people that are going to be on my list. Trying to read everybody's message. A lot of messages going in at one time. It's going to be hard to read them. So I'll try to read what messages I can. And it's not the best internet here. Once I get electricity in here, we're getting fiberglass. We're getting fiberglass at the house here sometime, hopefully. I don't know if that's all going to be postponed now or not, but we're getting fiberglass internet. Once I get electricity up here, and we replace fiberglass internet at the house, which would be cool because we have farm country copper wire still, the slowest internet on Earth. I'll be bringing the Starlink up here. We'll be able to do some real nice live streaming. Yeah. Putin wrestles bears with no shirts. We all know that. Yeah. That's everybody. Little Pooh Bear wants to say hello. Come here, Pooh. Come here. What your hole? Oops. What your hole, Pooh? What your hole? Na, hier rum. Pooh. Spielsachen. Hier rum. Everybody wants to say hello to Mr. Pooh. It's a little Pooh Bear. He's got his house. It's used to be a pig from IKEA. Now it's got no nose left, but he likes it. It's his favorite toy at the moment. So, Pooh, hier runter. Hier runter. Ja, hello, Poche. Ja, Poche, fine. So, hier runter. Oh, don't fall down. Come runter. So, how do Germans heat their homes in the winter? Well, mixed. More and more people are turning to turning to gas and electricity. But like I said, I heat my home completely with a wood stove. Yeah, if you learn to forge things, yeah, if they throw COVID restrictions in there as a, how did I say the bad word? The CV, the plague restrictions. Well, Greta Thunberg, I really don't want to talk about right now. She's just an instrument of all of this. That child herself, I don't think has anything to do with it. She's just an instrument, a puppet. And I think it's a very scrupulous disaster that her parents are using her like a tool. And she's actually a little bit mentally, someone like that shouldn't be used at all. I mean, children in general, someone who's mentally not capable of understanding what they're doing in front of people, like that young girl, she's being used like an instrument. That's so it's something to look behind a little bit. But the whole concept of all that, I don't agree with it. The idea of what Greta Thunberg is supposedly trying to stand for, I don't support that as well. Okay. All right. Now, what do we have here? Pooh. Pooh. He's out there looking at birds. Okay, I am now looking here. Mr. Pooh is out there. He's got the long leash. I could grab it if I need to, but it's getting a little bit dark. I need to water some of my plants before the light's out. And I would like to do a quick walk around of the garden before the light goes out. And would like to pack up the laptop, maybe give it another quick charge. And I was asked if I would do a live stream during midnight at the supermoon. I highly doubt that the camera will see anything, but in order to do that, I have to charge up the computer again. So I'll have to consider that, but I will be taking the machine home here in the next couple of minutes and putting it back on the charger. So the battery can charge back up. It charges fairly quickly within an hour or so. So it's okay. All right. Yeah, Pooh Bear's a good boy. He's a good dog. He's turned out to be quite my little friend. We had a little bumpy beginning there, but yeah, he's grown he's grown on me quite well. My little fuzzy friend. So, Jersey J, welcome. Unfortunately, sad to say that the live stream is about to come to an end because of the battery here in the computer. But if you stay tuned to the channel, I'm sure we'll see you here soon again. And then you won't miss out. If you won't miss out on any of the live streams, make sure you click on the subscribe and the ring the bell. And that way YouTube will let you know every time I post new content or when I do live videos. So I will, okay, what we got here? Dogs. Okay. It's time to go home now and put this on the charger. And I have to do 2 or 3 things out there before the sunlight disappears completely. I'd like to say thank you for everybody for tuning in. Today is live stream spontaneously. Like always, stay safe and see you soon.